Hi guys, welcome back to my miniature things. My name is Saeed. Christmas is only a couple weeks away, so I'm in the middle of decorating, as you can probably see. I already have my tree up and this Christmas garland, and I was about to put up my Christmas village, which is in this box behind me. But I had the amazing idea of making it into a 1/6 scale village. As you can see, this is what it looks like. It usually goes under the TV next to the tree over there. But you can see all the little houses and the lights and the people. It's so cute. And I was thinking it would be a great idea if we made one of these in 1/6 scale. We obviously aren't going to have enough space to do as many houses or have them as spread out as it was in the video, but I thought it would be a really cool idea just because I've never really seen a 1/6 scale Christmas village before. So if you want to see how to build a 1/6 scale Christmas village for your Barbies, just keep watching. Welcome back to the North Pole. Well, actually today I don't think it should be the North Pole. That was last time when we did Santa's workshop. Today let's refer to it as a winter wonderland. And you guys, this is the reason why I decided to do this entire video. I found this at the Savers thrift store a while ago. It was only $5.99 and I've been saving it for something special, and I think this is like the perfect occasion. If you haven't guessed yet, yes, we're gonna make a Santa sleigh out of this, and I'm just so excited to give this piece a makeover that I think I'm just gonna start with this and then build everything else around this. So let's head over to the craft table and start taking this baby apart. I think first up on the agenda is for us to get rid of this tag. Hopefully it peels off easily. Clearly that is not happening for me. It's this last little bit that's trying to kill me. Now I'm gonna use a paper towel and some acetone to wipe it down and get rid of the glue. Flip it over and grab my screwdriver to start taking apart the screws. Okay, this one honestly might be a little bit too big, so I'll be right back. I'm gonna grab a smaller one. Let's see if this one works. And it does! I think there's only 4 of them that's holding this bottom part to the top. And I was right. Now I wanna paint these pink things a different color, so I'm also gonna pop these out without breaking them, hopefully. Okay. Oh, that was pretty easy. Let's see if we can get this back piece off without breaking it. Well, too late, it's already broken. You guys, I did not do that. It came like that. I got it. I had to do it off camera because it was way more difficult than the other two. Now let's remove this front seat. I believe it's held in place with a couple screws over here. I believe they are out. Let's see if we can get it out. Maybe I need to go back in. What's going on? How deep are these screws? Okay, let's see if we can get it out. Oh, that was pretty easy. I was getting ready to like yank it like I had to do the back here, but it just popped out. This one, on the other hand, I don't really know. I don't really see any screws holding this in, so I'm not quite sure how to get this. I do see a little purple tab up there, so let's see if we push on that. Or maybe if I just push from up here. I'm so scared to break it. Okay, I'm gonna go do this off camera. I'll be right back. Success! I was able to get it. If you do have this carriage and you're trying to repaint it, the easiest way to get this off was that, well, the way that I did it, I just pressed it against my body and then I held right here and I pulled it really hard. So these are the 3 colors that I chose to paint this in. They are all from Rust-Oleum. This one is Sunrise Red, the green one is Meadow Green, and then we have gold, my favorite. So I'm gonna go paint all of my pieces and then we will put it back together and see what it looks like. So while that's drying, let's cut a piece of fabric down to 18 inches by 8 inches. I'm gonna use this red velvet. It's folded in half with the 2 good sides facing each other. And now I'm gonna go to the sewing machine and stitch from the top all the way down to the bottom on both sides. You can also do this with a hand needle. You don't have to do it on a sewing machine. I just chose to do it on the machine because it's a lot faster and I'm, well, very impatient. For the top, let's flip it over about 1 inch on the inside and sew about 1/4 inch away from the edge all the way around. Like this, and now we flip it over, and I'm gonna use my scissors to make some tiny little holes on the outside of my hem, just 2 of them. So it should end up looking something like this. You can see there's 1 hole there and 1 hole there. Now let's take a rope or a piece of string. I've had this piece forever. I'm not really sure where I got it, but I thought it was really perfect for this because it was just so Christmassy. I'm just gonna start passing this through one of the holes and just keep feeding it through all the way around that hem that we just made until you get to the other hole, and then I just pull it through. Grab some fluff from an old pillow and stuff it inside to make it look like it's full of gifts. Now let's close it up just a little bit till about here. And I'm just gonna tie a little knot right here so it doesn't come undone. Stack a few pieces of foam board together. They measure about 1 1/4 by 1 1/2 and wrap them in a gift paper of your choice. Add a little decorative bow to the top and place it on the top of our bag. I made a few more using various sizes of foam board, and look at how cute this one came out with the little snowman in front. I think given the size of this box, there might be a Christmas holiday Barbie in here. I then added them all to the top of our bag to make it look like the bag is overflowing with presents. And if you want to take it a step further, you can add some decorative Christmas branches and a Christmas bow to the front. Okay, that was way too big. I had to trim it down a little bit, but now we have a big fat sack of gifts that we can place in the back of Santa's sleigh. And speaking of Santa's sleigh, let's check on it. Here are all of our pieces spray painted in our new colors. They're all pretty much dry except for the red one. It's still a little bit sticky, but as I told you, I am super impatient. So I'm gonna try to put this back together now without ruining it. So let's start with this side piece over here. I believe it was on the left side. Okay, I was able to get that one in with not much damage. Now let's do the other side. Before I put in the gold piece in the back, I'm gonna put in the back seat. That looks cute. Okay, I'm happy with that. Let's hope the front seat goes back in as easy as it came out. Snap in the back and place it on the top of our wheels. Add a little bit of gold paint to a tiny little brush and add it to the buttons on our seats. Actually, I ended up completely butchering that, so I decided to just scrap painting it and I just added some gold beads instead. But now we can add in our huge, massive bag of gifts. You guys, I didn't realize this was gonna be so big. Let's use the stairs that we made in our Santa's Workshop video last week to serve as a stage. Extend the floor a little bit in the front. And now we can add Santa's sleigh on the top. Let's just try out Santa in the sleigh and see what it looks like. It looks like it might be a little bit too tall. So I went ahead and I made a little step to make it a little bit easier for him to get up there. This is gonna be where all the kiddies can come line up and get a chance to meet Santa Claus and ask him for whatever they want for Christmas. And I do wanna add some Christmas trees to this. I was thinking maybe one on this side and another one on this side. But they definitely don't blend in with the background just because they don't have any snow on them. So let's use some of the fluff from our pillow to make it blend in better with our background. I tried looking online for snow in a can, but you guys, it was so expensive. Not to mention they're all coming like almost close to Christmas, like 2 weeks from now. So I was like, you know what? Let me just give this a go and see what it looks like. Okay, honestly, I'm not super mad at it. Could it be better? Yes. The flocking spray would have made it a lot better, but this is the before and this is the after. I think it definitely blends in with the background a lot better than before. I added a couple more trees, a lot more snow, and some lights, and you guys, I feel like that really did the trick. Now let's see what it looks like with the lights off. Oh my God! This looks so good. Of course, I do wish that we had some lights in the trees in the back, but you guys, I didn't have any more lights. This is all I have left. But I'm not mad at it. It looks so good. And I know I just said that we were done with this little area right here for Santa Claus, but you guys, I really want to make a sign for Santa. So let's place our sign onto a piece of foam board and cut it out. Add some more of our Christmas branches to the top. Add some fairy lights to it. And now we have a sign for Santa that lights up. Now let's add a couple pieces of molding that I found at Home Depot and spray painted gold. I cut them down to about 20 inches and I'm just gonna place them on either side like this, leaving about 2 inches on the top and the remainder at the bottom. I also added one on the top and the bottom. And now let's add some gold Christmas balls on the top on either side. And here it is in the back of his sleigh. I think it looks perfect. Let's now take a 12-inch craft stick, cut it in half, add a wooden finial to the top and the wooden craft wheel to the bottom. I then spray painted gold, so while that's drying, I cut a piece of my red velvet down to about 1/2 inch wide and it measures about 9 inches long, and I'm just gonna pull it really taut like this so that it curls up and ends up looking like a rope. And now I'm gonna take a gold clasp and attach it to one end. Actually, I ended up attaching it to a jump ring first and then I attached it to my fabric. But you could see where I joined it. It kind of looks kind of ugly. So I'm gonna take a gold bead and pass it through the other side of my red rope and pull it all the way to the other side where we put the clasp and the jump ring so that it covers up where the thread is. I then repeated the same thing for the other side. My other piece is now dried, so let's take something really sharp and make a little hole about 1.5 inches away from the top and insert this tiny little hook that I found at the dollar store. It screws in like this. Now I repeat to make another one. And now let's attach our rope to one of our hooks and the other hook to the other post so that we end up with something that looks like this. I then repeated to make another one so that the dolls know where to line up when they're here to see Santa Claus. I also made this little sign for any little rascals that are thinking about cutting the line. Okay, now our Meet Santa area is done. I know I said that like 10 minutes ago, but I lied. And as you can see over there on the left, I do have a lot of leftover cords from the lights on the Christmas trees. So let's see if we can make something to cover that up. I was thinking maybe a little toy store, like maybe the toy store hired Santa and they're having like this little Christmas event. Let's start by cutting a piece of foam board down to 17 inches by 15 inches. And on one of the 15-inch sides, I'm gonna find the exact middle. On the other side that measures 17 inches, I'm gonna measure about 4.5 inches down and make a little mark. Let's now take our ruler and connect both of those dots that we just made from the 15-inch side to the 17-inch side. Cut it out and repeat for the other side. I then made some cutouts on my piece. The door in the middle measures 12 inches tall by 3 inches wide. The windows on either side measure 3.5 inches wide by 7 inches tall. They're both 4 inches from the bottom and 1 inch away from the edge. Let's now cover our piece in this brick printable that I printed off of the computer. Let's cut our cutouts into 1/2-inch strips and use them to frame our windows and our door. Add a sign above the door. For the door itself, let's cut a piece of foam board that's a little bit bigger than our opening and cover it in a contact paper of your choice. I'm using this beige contact paper that I found on Amazon. I then made a cutout in the middle that measures about 10 inches tall by 1.5 inches wide. And I cut some 1/4-inch strips of foam board to make a border. Let's now place the front of our toy store onto our door. Place some plexiglass or some clear packaging within our openings. And I made a little sign that says, "Come in, we're open," for the door. And since we are making this to cover up all of those cords, we obviously can't leave these windows see-through. So I printed some window displays that we can place in the back. And now we have a toy store with lots of toys in the window. And look, you can even see the cash register through the door. For the side, I cut a piece down to 13 inches by 9 inches, cover it in my brick printable, and now I can place it on the side. For the roof, let's cut 2 pieces of black foam board. They measure 12 inches by 10 inches and place them on the top of our toy store. I added some snow and some decorations, but you guys, check this out. I added a light on the inside and you guys, look at how cute! I am literally about to scream. This looks so magical. My only problem is that it isn't really the brightest light in the world, so when my studio lights are on, you can't really see it. But it's okay because I'm really happy with it. I am actually obsessed. And really quick before we move on, I just wanted to show you my favorite part of this toy store is the Barbie display on the top shelf. Look how cute that is. So now that we have that part done, let's see if we can figure out what we're gonna do over here. For the floor, I covered a piece of foam board in this concrete contact paper that I found on Amazon, and let's just place it right over here. And I was thinking that we could put like a little hot chocolate stand over here so that the dolls can grab something to warm them up while they're waiting in line to see Santa. So let's start by cutting a piece that measures 4 inches by 8.5 inches, and I cover it in my wood grain contact paper. I cut another piece that measures 2.5 inches by 8.5 inches, and I join them on the side that measures 8.5 inches, like so. And another 2.5 by 8.5 inch piece in the bottom in the back. This piece does not have to be covered because no one's gonna see it. For the back, let's cut another piece that measures 4 inches by 8.5 inches, and of course this one is covered, and we're gonna place this one right back here. A 4 by 3 inch piece on the side, and another one for the other side. Trim it in 1/4-inch strips of gold craft paper to cover the edges, like this, and now let's add some gold molding to the corners. Like this, now let's make the top part. Let's cut 2 wooden dowels down to about 8 inches, cover them in our wood grain contact paper, and place them on the top of our piece that we just made, like this. I then made a second piece using the same steps as we used to make this piece, but this piece measures 8.5 inches wide, but only 1 inch tall. I also cut a strip of my gold craft paper, making the edge of it scalloped, and I'm just going to wrap this around my 1 by 8.5 inch piece down here at the bottom. And I made a little sign that says hot chocolate for the front. Spray a coffee stirrer gold and place it right over where the gold paper meets the brown paper to break it up a bit. But I'm not really happy with how the corners of my curves came out, because as you can see, I kind of like cut into some of them. So I'm gonna add some gold beads over them to cover it up and add some decoration. And I think that looks so much better and so much neater. Let's now place it on the top of our wooden dowels. And I kind of want to add some wheels to this, so I was thinking we could remove the wheels off of this bicycle, and I think it should be pretty easy. It might just pop off. And again, I was right. I was able to get the second one off, and I was thinking that maybe we can do the tire and this part, I'm not really sure what you call that part, 2 different colors. So let's get the tire off. I just peel it off and it comes right off. So now I'm gonna go spray paint these and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. They're dried and I think they look amazing. But you guys, we have a huge problem. I mismeasured the height of the cart, so even when we put the wheels down here, it's gonna be too short for a Barbie. So I really didn't want to do this, but we're gonna have to add an extension down here. So let's add a piece that measures 2 inches by 4 inches down here in the corner on the right. Another piece that measures 2 inches by 2.5 inches over here on the side. Another piece that measures 2.5 by 3.5 over here at the bottom. A 2 by 2.5 inch piece on this side. and a 4x2" piece in the back. I then trimmed it in my gold craft paper so that it looks more finished and it matches the rest of the cart. And now I'm gonna attempt to place my wheel on there, you guys. I am so scared. I'm just gonna place it right about there and use something pointy to make a little hole through the foam board. Flip it over, and I'm just gonna eyeball this. Hopefully I don't mess it up, but I think that's where it is on the other side, and I'm just gonna make another little hole right here. And now I'm gonna pass this metal rod through the back hole and try to get it through the front hole. I honestly probably shouldn't have put this piece here just to make it a lot easier on myself, but I wanted the stability. After about 5 minutes of struggling, I was able to get it through. But now let's take our bicycle wheel and pass it through one side of our metal rod and add a bead to the end of the rod. I then hold the other side and pull it through until the bead meets the wheel. Add the other wheel on the other side and add another bead. Trim off the excess. And for this side, to balance it off, I'm going to take a piece of my metal rod and measure down about 6.5 inches, and I'm just going to bend it going this way. I then measure over 2.5 inches going this way and bend it again. Measure 6 inches up and cut off the excess. Spray it gold, and now we are going to attempt to insert this into our foam board going all the way in. I also want to add a little handle on this side just so it's a lot easier for the dolls to hold and pull like while they're rolling it. So again, I'm going to go in with one of my metal rods and I'm going to place it on the side and bend inward probably like 2 or 3 inches. Move up to where I want the handle to be. For me, it's going to be like right about here, probably like 3 inches up, and I'm going to bend outward. Now let's move about 1.5 inches away from that bend, and we're going to bend going in the opposite direction this time. Move over about 2 inches and bend it again going in this direction, and then we're just going to repeat this entire thing on this side. Spray paint it gold and place it on the side of our cart. Add a little drink menu to the side, and you guys, it looks super cute, but again, we have a huge problem, and I do mean huge. It is way too tall for a Barbie. As you can see, the height from the ground to the counter is a little bit tall for a Barbie, but it's actually perfect height for an Integrity Toys doll. But I do think that this part up here is a little bit tall even for an Integrity Toys doll, so I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. I cut off about 2 inches from the post and I think it looks a lot better. Now let's add a little hot chocolate machine. Well, it actually says soft serve, but nobody knows that. And maybe some warm pretzels. I know, it looks kind of empty. I have more, I just don't know where they are. A little cash register so the dolls can ring people up. I'm just gonna place this in the middle. A little cup of hot chocolate right under the hot chocolate machine. And I think our hot chocolate stand is ready to go. You guys, this came out 10 out of 10. I'm obsessed. And the best part about it, you guys, is that it actually rolls. Like, look at how cute that is. It's gonna be so easy for the dolls to get from point A to point B. Up next, you guys, I wanna make a skating ring. I know this is kind of ambitious just because we've already done so much, but I've never done one before, so I think we should try it. But I think we should start with the skate rental shop first. So let's start with that. I'm gonna put that over there in the corner next to that tree. Let's start by cutting a piece of foam board down to 6 inches by 8 inches. And I cover it in this wood grain contact paper that I found on Amazon. Cut 3 pieces that measure 2 inches by 5 inches, and as you can see, I covered these all the way around, including the edges. And now I'm going to place these on our 8 by 6 inch piece like this, about 1/2 inch apart, to make some faux doors. And now I'm going to add these handles. I believe I found them on Temu. They just stick right into the foam board to give us some covered doors with handles. I then cut and cover a piece that measures 2 inches by 8 inches, and this one is rolled on one side, and I'm just going to place the first piece that we made about 1/4 inch away from the edge like this. Next, let's cut a piece that measures 8 inches by 13 inches. And again, I cover this one in my wood grain contact paper and place our cupboards with our countertop about 6 inches up from the bottom. And you guys, I only have one skate, like not even the pair, just this one. But obviously, since this is going to be like a skate rental, we need to have skates in here. So I printed some. And now I'm just going to place it right up here to make it look like we have shelves full of skates. And then to make it look a little bit more 3D, not like a picture just on the back of our cupboard, I'm going to add a 1/2 inch strip of foam board on the bottom, the top, the sides, and some 1/4 inch strips in the middle to hopefully make it look a little bit more realistic, like our skates are actually sitting on like real shelves. Next, let's cut a piece of foam board down to 9 inches by 13 inches. And as you can see, I covered both sides in this wood grain contact paper that I found at Michael's. And I'm just going to place this one right over here on this side to create a wall. Cut another piece that measures 6 inches by 8 inches. And I cover it in the same craft paper as I used to cover up my wall. And I'm just going to place it right over here about an inch away from the edge. And then I cut 2 pieces of foam board that measure 2 inches by 8 inches. They are doubled in here. Whoops! They are doubled in here. As I was saying before, I was rudely interrupted. And as you can see, I covered it all the way around, rolling my edges of the foam board in the same contact paper as I used for the cupboards back here. And now I'm just gonna place this on top of this piece that we just put in. I then cut a piece that measures 1 inch by 8 inches, and I cover it in my Michaels craft paper, and I'm just gonna place this one up here on the corner. I then made another wall that measures 8 inches by 13 inches, and again, I covered it in my Michaels craft paper. And I'm just gonna place it over here on this side. Cut a piece that measures, oh my God, this is so up in your face. I'm sorry, this is so close to the camera, but it measures 10 inches by 11 inches, and I'm gonna place this over here as the roof. Add in a skate rental sign so the dolls know this is the place to go, and a skate rental menu so the dolls know how much to pay. And last but not least, let's add in one of our 5 below lights on the ceiling. And now the dolls have a ski rental shop that they can go to rent their skis. Well, is it skis? I think skiing is something completely different. It is. Ice skates. That's what I meant to say. Yes, yes. A place they can go to rent their ice skates. Let's also add in this cash register that we made in our bowling alley video. If you haven't seen that video yet, please check it out. This one right here. I then went ahead and I made another store. I made a little bakery using the same steps as we used to make the toy store. And I was thinking that we can put it right here next to our ski rental. And I also made a little candy store using the same steps as we used to make the toy store. And this one I think I'll put right next to the bakery. Now, obviously, since our village buildings have expanded, we need to expand the floor also. So I'm just gonna add another one of our foam boards that's covered in our concrete contact paper from Amazon. Okay, that's a lot better. And I was thinking that the skating rink can go right here in the front. So I'm gonna use a piece of foam board that measures 20 inches by 30 inches. And I'm gonna place a massive sheet of clear acrylic over the top. I found it at Hobby Lobby and it was only $3.99. And now I'm gonna take a 40 grit, is this 40 grit? 60 grit. I'm gonna take a 60 grit sandpaper and start sanding it in a circular motion to make it look like the dolls have been skating on it and scratching up the ice, giving it a more realistic look. And just like that, you guys, we have our ice. That was so easy. Now we need a railing for around our rink. So I cut 2 pieces of foam board down to 1 inch by 6 inches, and I cover them all the way around in wood grain contact paper. And then I cut a piece of plexiglass down to 9 inches by 6 inches, and I'm just gonna place these on the side. And now I'm just gonna place it right over here on the side of our rink. I then repeated it a few more times going all the way around, and I left a little opening over here so that when the dolls get their skates over there, they can enter the rink right here. And honestly, I am super happy with this, you guys. I couldn't be happier with the way that this came out. But the one thing that's really bothering me is that I don't have any skates for the dolls to skate in. It's really burning my toast. So let's see if we can make some skates. Let's start off with 2 pieces of silver craft paper, and I'm gonna stick them together like this so that both of the shiny sides are facing outwards. And I'm gonna use my one skate and place the blade on the edge of my paper and then use a pencil to lightly draw around it. I said lightly, but I'm pressing so hard, even in the nooks and crannies. Okay. That looks kind of good. Let's now take a tiny pair of scissors and see if we can cut that out nice and neat. Like this. It isn't the neatest job in the world, but I think it'll work. I'm now gonna place it at the bottom of one of my doll sneakers. And you guys, honestly, I'm not mad at it. I think it looks pretty good. I made another one, and now I have a pair of ice skates for my doll. But the problem is I need a lot more. So I'm gonna go now, decorate all of this, make a million more ice skates, and I'll be right back with the finished product. I added a little skating rink rule sign and a little gate to keep dolls without skates off the ice, and this is what I got. Honestly, Santa's sleigh slayed. And the hot chocolate cart ate. I'm literally obsessed. That's probably one of my favorite things I've ever made. I just have to say it. I know it was a little bit tall for the Barbies, but I wanted to be able to use it with both my Integrity Toys dolls and my Barbies. And I think with the right stand, the Barbies don't look so short in front of it. I also really wanted to make the skating rink into a circle, but cutting that acrylic into a circle, not my idea of fun. Not to mention bending the railings to make it go around the circle rink. Yeah, no thank you. The stress of even thinking about it, not the vibe. I was really happy with the way that the houses turned out. I think given the amount of space that we had, we were able to fit quite a few of them in there, especially given the fact that they were 1/6 scale. Even the little red velvet ropes were so cute. I think I'm just obsessed with making things that I've never made before. You guys know that. It makes me want to do like a whole bunch more red ropes and do like a red carpet event for my dolls. I also felt like in the last video that we did, the Santa's Workshop, we didn't really use enough decorative Christmas lighting. But let's just say I don't feel like that this time. Everything was just so magical. But I want to hear from you guys. What was your favorite thing that we built today? And I was also thinking about doing a Q&A video for you guys. So if you guys have any questions about me or about crafting or about anything really, please leave them in the comments below. Also, please don't forget to let me know what we should build next week, also in the comments. Don't forget to shop My Miniature Things on Etsy for all of your doll fashion needs. If you like this video, please give it a huge thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.